We're back from our 1 week hiatus while I was on my honeymoon in a tropical island. It was great. I requested every team not do anything crazy while I was gone. Instead, they all decided to fire their coaches. We're talking some wild graphics that were put out by teams. College game day making dumb choices. Our betting is not going well. We're going to try and turn it around. And Luke Fickle's shopping list is getting closer that he might be able to spend all this money at the store. And we are excited for him for that. But stick around and let's have some fun. They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
dogs.
Know that? They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years and just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God. That's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.
And we're back, Ciarnan. Happy that Franklin's gone? Upset about where are we landing on this?
We're landing on still unsure. Because while he was incredibly important to our program, he got us to the CFP. He got us a couple of bowl wins. He got us a Big Ten championship. We need the next step, and almost 12 years there, and he couldn't quite deliver. You could argue that the semifinal against Notre Dame was right there, and that this kind of backward trajectory that we're going on this season it's just a hiccup or a blip, but we got to the point of our patience just running out.
That's fair. And with a school like Penn State, I feel like, we won one Big Ten championship. We made the college football playoffs after they expanded it to 12 teams, which is hilarious still. And he won us a bowl. That's not enough for a program like Penn State, where they do have all this history. Now, a majority of the history is just from one person, but it still is sort of the expectation that they can go out and get someone who can, at the very least, get you to a national championship, let alone winning it. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. He was not the only firing. We will get to those in a second, but I have some things that I am very much fired up about, Ciarnan, that we need to talk about. The first one, I forgot about it. You added it. FCS, North Dakota State and South Dakota State, number 1 and 2. That has to be a rivalry named game. I'm not sure if it is, just the Dakota Bowl. Big game, huge game. College Game Day is not going there. They're going to Nashville for Missouri versus Vandy. Ken, what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are exactly this. People are sick and tired of seeing ESPN College Game Day crew going to an SEC school. Do not get me wrong. Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt offense, and actually the entire Vanderbilt team, is doing incredibly well. And yes, it is a objectively great game to go to. We want to see how well they play against another SEC team. I mean, we've seen it already this year, but against Missouri, they're I think it's 7-15 if I'm not mistaken, but irrelevant for right now. Two ranked opponents, arguably should be a great matchup. I don't think anyone has any doubts about that. It's more about the fact that it's number 1 and number 2 in the FCS, North Dakota State and South Dakota State. That's the game. That's the game that we should be praising, because that's the type of game that, if it's not necessarily a rivalry, although it probably is, it goes to show that ESPN as an entity is not giving enough recognition to these smaller schools. They're still, Division I athletes. They're still have the ability to play at the top level. They absolutely, some of them have the ability to get into the NFL. It's definitely a harder trajectory, but it's certainly still there. And this actually kind of comes back to us as well, because we're a college football program. How often do we talk about the FCS? So this is actually both a reflection on ESPN as the global entertainer or College Game Day specifically as the entertainer of college football, and then on us to call them on it and us to do a better job talking about the FCS as well. So it's a missed opportunity, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We could do a better job of covering FCS.
But we're just two guys, like
yeah, we're two guys. We're not an entire production crew.
Yeah,
we do our own research, all of it, and I know the game day guys. They come to their own conclusions, but they have other people telling them, "Here's what's going on in college football." We do this all on our own.
Yeah,
during the workday.
This is our fun time.
So and look, I'm a big touter of SEC dominance. I think SEC is the best conference, top to bottom. I think yes, they have not won a national title in 2 years, but it really tells you how good of a conference they are. The fact that everyone's like, oh, the SEC's dead. As an Alabama fan, when people are trying to always say, oh, the team is dead, it means that they are scared that they're coming back. That's what it means. People are scared that the SEC is going to wake up and start winning again. So they're going to get their licks in out. The SEC was actually dead as a program. People go, oh, or as a conference, excuse me. People go, oh, that's sad. Oh, remember when they were so good? They're not dead until that happens. If you're celebrating them being quote unquote dead, they're not. With all that being said, this is a gross miscarriage of justice. This is disgusting. College Game Day, you have a job. Yes, your first job is to entertain people, but a secondary job of this program is to showcase what college football is, showcase what it can be, showcase the fun stories about it, sometimes showcase the sad parts about it, but you show the world what it is. More so, show all of America what it is, because I doubt people in Uzbekistan are watching College Game Day, but I digress. It's important to go to these quote unquote smaller games, but they're not. ESPN has the broadcasting rights for the SEC, so they're going to go to SEC games.
Yeah.
They have the ACC, so they're going to go to ACC games, although more often than not, SEC. It's awful. I don't need to see Theo Vaughn in Tuscaloosa for Alabama versus Vanderbilt every week, because that's what it's becoming. I don't need you to go to Nashville to watch Missouri versus Vandy. If you want to go to the really big games, sure, like the Iron Bowl, the Red River Shootout, things like that, I get it. Those are big, massive events every year. But outside of those big games, and I'm not saying just those two, but for examples, you should be looking for other big rivalries. A couple years ago, they went to Jackson State because Deion was there. Electric. It was great. They were on Beale Street for Memphis a few years before that. Awesome. And I feel like that is part of the concern with Lee Corso retiring, who I hope he's enjoying retirement. He should have retired. But it feels like they lost a little bit of their souls with this. And this is just kind of further reinforcing that. Am I saying if Lee Corso were still there, they wouldn't be doing this? No, probably not. But it's just one thing after another. Lee Corso retires. You feel like you lost part of the soul there. They sold their souls to the SEC, so that's all they're going to show now. It's disgusting. I hate it. I do think some people complaining are ridiculous. They can't show certain highlights. Be like, well, why aren't they showing the highlights from my team's game? Well, because they're on NBC. They can't do that. But at the same time, they can still showcase these other schools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it even stems to the guest pickers that they have on. It's like people who have no affiliation with a school or didn't graduate or didn't, who was a former coach there or something like that. Like they're picking like Jelly Roll for one of them. I don't know if it's this week or the week prior, but they don't pick people that actually care about the school. And you can make the claim, oh well, Timothy Chalamet proved that he knew ball. And okay, granted, that's one example, but it's one out of many, right? This program goes on 12 weeks of the year. So like it's important for other schools, these smaller schools, to get the recognition that they deserve.
And I think Chalamet was there for like a conference championship game, which for teams they've already been to. So I get that. If you are going to a school or doing something for the third time that year,
yeah,
okay, pick someone who knows ball still, but doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the school. And yeah, Jelly Roll was there last weekend. I think he's a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
That would make sense. They had him at Georgia. Theo Vaughn was openly rooting for Vanderbilt, and they had him on in Tuscaloosa. That's ridiculous. It's awful. They really need to hire someone whose job it is just to make these decisions.
And you'd think with such a big company that they would have that person already there.
I think they overrode it for money. Yeah. I think they just went, well, Theo Vaughn is popular on TikTok, so we're going to bring him in. Well, for what game? He's a Vandy fan, but we're in Tuscaloosa. I do not care. It's views. Oh, well, we have this FCS game. Nope, it's FCS. It's too small. No one cares. We're going to Nashville to watch Vandy Mizzou. It's ridiculous. College football, week by week, is slowly losing its soul. Not just game day. I think that was an underrepresentation of how bad the problem is in college football. Just pinning it all on game day. It's not. It's indicative of a larger issue, which is also indicated by the fact that Texas Tech is banning the tortilla throws, Ciarnan, because it's a 15-yard penalty and a $100,000 fine. Now, look, I'm not opposed to a school trying to avoid a $100,000 fine. I get it. They don't want to pay that money. They probably have enough money. They definitely do. They spent $28 million on their roster. They could pay a couple $100,000 each season. But the fact that this is a fine is insane. If you want to say it's a delay game, whatever. But it's what makes college football fun. It is absolutely disgusting. And I say this I want to use the word that we can't say anymore. Every damn week we say the same exact thing. College football is trying to become the NFL. And that's not what it is. That's not why people watch it. That's not why we care. That's not why I have a podcast. If I wanted to do a podcast about, admittedly, yeah, the NFL is good, but about a relatively boring everything around it, no fun, I would have used my major and made a podcast about accounting. But I like having fun. I like interesting things. So we did college football. It's disgusting. I hate it. These conferences, these administrators, Charlie Baker, get your heads out of your asses and bring back college football. I'm stuttering because I'm so worked up about this. And it's not just the tortillas. It's everything else that's been going on in college football. It's disgusting. It's ruining the sport we love. And people need to get it together.
Anyway.
Any thoughts on the tortillas, Ciarnan?
And another thing. Now, yeah, to that end, it's one of those things that, yeah, you could argue that it's, intrusive and it's not, it hurts the game or whatever, but it's the tradition. If you let traditions die, it like, A, new traditions will just form, and B, it's not like people will, despite what it might seem like, it's like, oh, we're making it a more professional environment and we can't have like people just randomly throwing tortillas all over the place, which objectively is actually hilarious that they do it. But it's the thing that brings people of Texas Tech together because they know it's going to happen. So even if you have a great team in Texas Tech and whatever, you're still going, when do I get to throw the tortilla? Like, it's a novelty that's what brings people back.
100% agree with you. And I feel like this has been an ongoing issue for the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think looking at it, you can pinpoint the exact date where college football as we know it died.
Oh, what date is that?
December 12th, 2022. That is the day that we lost Mike Leach, and it was bigger than life, sometimes bigger than the sport. And I feel like that was kind of the beginning of the end. We lost that big, fun, boisterous personality, and college football is just slowly going with it.
Yeah. Actually, that's a great point. I mean, you could kind of consider it with the collapse of society when we shot Harambe, and everything since then has gone downhill from that. So, arguably, yeah, the death of Mike Leach probably preempted all of this crap. So,
Yeah, it's terrible. It sucks. And yeah, I'm done getting worked up about how stupid college football is now. So again, we're going to talk about stupid teams instead. A lot of schools have done their firings. There's going to be more to come, but we already briefly touched on the James Franklin firing. Ciarnan gave his thoughts. The Dilf man is
yes.
out at UAB as well. Trent Dilfer, rest in piss, buddy. I hope you never get another coaching job again. I hope you never get another media job again. If I never have to see Trent Dilfer's stupid bald head on my TV, it still would have been too soon to see his stupid bald head. I hate him, and I'm glad he's unemployed.
While that is an interesting take, it's one that is probably felt quite widely.
He also deserved it. Like, this is not me just going, oh, yeah, I dislike him, so it's a good move to fire. He was not a good coach. I think before that, his only experience was a high school coach. So the fact they even hired him in the first place is asinine. But then also going back to his comments from last year, guys, calm down. We're not Alabama or anything. Like, still try to win games, Trent. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And then the third firing this past week or past 2 weeks, Billy Napier. Florida has not been good this year, Ciarnan. I think Florida did it the right way, though. They have not been good under Billy Napier's tenure. They've been great, but this is the fourth year. That's what I say. You give them 4 years to get a full cycle of their recruiting classes in, and then you see. And it wasn't working, so they fired.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Napier?
No. For Napier, I think that was I find it hilarious that they fired him after a loss. So that's pretty funny. But I do get it that they're like, yeah, I mean, the product isn't good enough for what we're trying to achieve. So, thank you. We appreciate it. But please, here's the door. See you later. At least they didn't get their hopes dragged out over 10 plus years and just going, oh, we're right there. You know what it's like? It's like Penn State was climbing up a mountain. Penn State fans were climbing up a mountain. And every time we went to reach for the summit, our foot would slip. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. I can see that.
Brutal.
But moving on to, I said there's going to be more firings probably. Ciarnan, who do you think the next coach to get fired is going to be?
Well, there was talk about Norvell getting fired, and that could absolutely happen. Probably Luke Fickell. 2-5 at Wisconsin is not great. You've got Oregon coming up, who are going to stomp them into the ground, especially since they're playing at home. You could argue that maybe I don't really know who else is in that dire of a position. Yeah, I would say Luke Fickell or Norvell are the next ones to go.
I'd agree. Florida State did come out and kind of say, "Hey, we have our faith in Mike Norvell at least for the next 6 weeks." They said they're going to look at it at the end of the season. I think they just want to get through the year and try to knock down that buyout a little bit. But I do think it's Fickell. One of two. I think it's going to be Fickell just because it's not necessarily that he's losing. That's a big part of it. But Wisconsin was at one point a pretty big brand. Not great, but big. And it's not that they've become a laughingstock. They've sort of just become an afterthought when it comes to college football. I don't think about Wisconsin other than when I'm looking up Luke Fickle's shopping list every week. They've gone away from their lineage of big, beefy boys up front and a really good running back room. And now they don't have anything. They do not have a reputation for anything except being terrible or being forgotten. And then the other one I think is Bill Belichick. I just think they're going to be sick of him.
Yeah. I think that the thing with Bill Belichick's situation is that he's too new of a coach for any of us to really care. I think the bigger ones would be Luke Fickell because he was so successful in Cincinnati, and Norvell because of his buyout and things like that. I think the one thing that Wisconsin is where Nebraska was 5 years ago. Kind of irrelevant, kind of an afterthought. They still had like, a solid run game and a solid offensive line, but it's just like Matt Rule's just not completely transformed it. He still has his system and everything, but Nebraska has become relevant again. And you could argue, there's always the debate about what's a blue blood, what isn't a blue blood. But Nebraska is one of those things that you think of like the 70s, 80s, and 90s when they were just the biggest shithouses of offensive linemen that just beat you up all game. And I'm not saying that like that's what Matt Rule has brought back, but that is it brings out the connotation of that. And Wisconsin was like that for a long time as well. And I think they've kind of swapped positions in the Big Ten.
That's fair. There's two others, Ciarnan, actually, that just crossed my mind.
Oh.
Bill O'Brien.
Okay, good point.
At Boston College, he has one win against Fordham. Let's look at Fordham's record. They lost to Boston College. Then they lost to Monmouth. Then they lost to Stony Brook. Then they lost to Colgate. They beat Holy Cross, though. Then they lost to Lafayette. Then they lost to Dartmouth. So they're just terrible. Boston College, there's a very real chance that they go winless at the FBS level. They have lost to Michigan State, Stanford, Cal, Pitt, Clemson, UConn. They're playing Louisville this weekend, who's number 19. They're playing Notre Dame the 21st, which is 12. They're playing SMU November 8th. The 15th, they have number 7 Georgia Tech, excuse me. And then they have Syracuse on the 29th. There's a very, very real chance that they do not win another game all year. And then, I mean, this is low-hanging fruit, but Joe Harasimiak, UMass's coach, you cannot lose by 36 to Kent. You just can't do that and expect to keep your job. And yeah, do you have any other ones, Ciarnan, or is that really it?
Yeah, no, the only one I would say is it's not really fair, but it's like if Illinois starts to have problems late into the season, I think it's Brett Bielema, right? He might get on the hot seat. He's not now, and I'm not suggesting he will be, but like, he's got Washington coming up this weekend. If they lose to them, 5-3, not great. It's one of those situations where the AD might jump the gun and be like, oh yeah, there's lots of coaches out there. We'll just grab one, like he's grabbing a player from the portal. But yeah, you got to be, I think they can definitely hold on for now, but just kind of a lukewarm, we'll say
that. That's fair. But moving on to, and we're only going to talk about this for really the two big schools because we don't want to go through everyone, but Penn State, Florida. Who is going to fill that seat next year? We'll start with Penn State, Ciarnan. Who are you feeling? Who do you want and who do you think it's going to be?
Well, Cignetti's gone. It's a kind of a toss-up at this point. So Cignetti's gone. I suspect Matt Rule will be gone relatively shortly, not because he's moved to a different school, but he's going to get another contract. And so there's a couple of other names, two in particular, that I want to bring attention to. Manny Diaz and Matt Campbell. And I think Manny Diaz wanted to be a head coach, right? And he is arguably a brilliant defensive coordinator. But I would love to see him back at Penn State. Now, because Manny Diaz has a better defensive mind than he does an offensive mind, I think that might butt heads slightly with Jim Knowles, who came over from Ohio State as our defensive coordinator. I'd like to see how that situation evolves. But the other one I wanted to look at is Matt Campbell. He has stayed put at Iowa State for 10 years, 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year, and won 11 games last year. So I think Iowa State is a good school, and I'm not suggesting that Penn State's better, but I would like to see somebody of the caliber of Campbell kind of make the leap to the Big Ten and hopefully succeed.
That's fair. My thing with Matt Campbell, if he has not left yet, I don't know if he will.
Do you think he's one of those lifers that's just going to stay there?
I think he's either a lifer or like the absolute perfect job comes along, and I mean like a school goes, yeah, we'll give you $50 million every year to build your football team. Which is insane. No school is going to do that. I think that's just kind of what it needs to be, the exact perfect situation for him. Just you don't stay at a school for 10 years, have the success he's had at a school not known for football success and not had other offers. But it could be interesting. Penn State is one of those top places where they will give him the resources to succeed if they believe in him. I know James Franklin said earlier in the year, well, this is last year. This is the first year we've had real alignment. Like, okay, so they just didn't trust you, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So if they trust Matt Campbell, then I think that is going to be it. Or if they can give him the guarantees he wants. Yeah, Kurt Cignetti, I don't even know if he was ever even considering going to Penn State.
Wasn't.
I think
he wasn't.
He has to love Indiana. He's a king there. He can coach there the rest of his life, I think.
Yeah.
As long as he makes a bowl game every other year and just misses one in the years he doesn't go, he'll be fine. And that's like bare minimum. I know he's been doing really well. I think it's going to be Matt Rule.
Really?
To be honest. Yeah. It's going to be Matt Rule, and Penn State fans are going to riot, is really what it comes down to.
Riot in a good way or riot in a bad way?
Oh, bad way. They're going to be pissed. They're going to be so upset.
Yeah, because the thing about Matt Rule is like he has this reputation as like not a program savior, but like actually no, that is kind of the right term. Like he builds programs back up. Penn State doesn't need a rebuild. We're not in the trenches, I mean, this season we kind of are, but like over the past 10 years, we haven't been, right? We've been pretty consistent, very solid 10-2 type team. We just need that extra push. Matt Rule doesn't really provide that for Penn State. We need somebody who like goes out and like, all right, we honestly, we need Kurt Cignetti. As much as I don't like, he is gone. I understand that. Like he's going to be in Indiana for the long haul, but we need Kurt Cignetti. I don't care what it takes. Get him to Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State, it's not a complete teardown. It's just a light reno. Just fix a few things up, replace the sink, put some new tile in the bathroom, and you'll be fine.
Exactly.
But the problem is all that is going to take a lot of work to do. Mm-hmm. If it was a complete rebuild, you could just go get someone competent and get back to being in a bowl game. They're already making bowl games except for this year. But yeah, I mean, Matt Rule went to Penn State. He's in year 3, which usually it goes, first 2 years are kind of up and down. Year 3, he has it all together, builds the team up, gets them in the national spotlight, and then he leaves and goes somewhere else. So it fits his timeline. But I think Penn State fans will riot because you already had a coach who couldn't beat Michigan or or Ohio State. And Matt Rhule has not played Ohio State yet, but he has not beaten Michigan. So we have McDonald's at home and we threw it in the garbage to go get Burger King is basically what this move would be. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But moving on to Florida, this is the interesting one to me, at least. Actually, not really. I've heard like one name, but I've heard a lot of Lane Kiffin to the Gators, which I don't really think's gonna happen. I think he just likes the drama and attention. I'd be curious. James Franklin's on the market. Florida is sort of in need of that calming presence. But Ciarnan, there's an obvious name that nobody is talking about.
Oh, please let it be the person I think you're going to say. Please let it be him.
I'm not sure if it is.
Oh.
It's a man who every couple of years, the law catches up to him. He fakes a heart attack. He takes a few years off, and then he comes back to coaching. Can we get Urban out of retirement? Florida has to at least make the call.
Yeah, I'm sure they already have.
Or they do a Stoops at Oklahoma situation where they need a coach, so they just bring him in for like a game or two. Who are you hoping, I would say?
I genuinely thought you were going to say Coach O.
No, I've decided. He said he's interested in the Oregon State job, so I want him to take that so it could be Orgeron State.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good.
That's what I need.
Good. But the only thing I would say is that man is the South through and through. I can't imagine him going up north.
That would be great. That is the kind of thing where I would want a reality show of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Bill Belichick wants a reality show. I don't want it. Nobody wants it. Coach O in Oregon? Oh, buddy. My ass is glued to the couch every night that airs. And we're doing a whole segment on this show breaking down the latest episode.
Yeah.
I need it like I need air to breathe. I think I just want the reality show more than him coaching there. Coach O, please move to Oregon or Washington if you want, but get up there and let's just see. Let's get some cameras out there and make some magic happen.
Oh, boy.
But we touched on it. Cignetti extension. It was a good move. It was the right move. He's potentially already the greatest coach in their history.
Yeah, something like that.
Which isn't great. He's been great. Don't get me wrong. That's not great when a guy's been there for 2 years and it's already kind of a discussion.
Well, I mean, he's a serial winner, as he said.
That's true. Yeah, in year one, he already got I forgot about this. He got the most wins in their program's history at 11. The previous record was 9 in 1967 by John Pont. In 1945, Bo McMillan, which is a great name. McMillan, sorry. I forgot the second M. Fourth highest they've ever been ranked. Well, actually, currently it's the highest they've ever been ranked. Last year, the fourth highest they've ever been ranked. 1945 and 67, they were ranked 4 at certain points. So yeah, I think it's not a stretch to say Curt Cignetti is at least the best coach Indiana has ever had.
Yeah, and it's really funny because we were talking a lot of smack to him earlier on in this podcast this year, and we're like, yeah, you can't really be talking down the SEC like that. And then he just goes out and just dominates teams. We're like, oh, maybe you can do that. Yeah. All right, our bad.
Yeah, no, I'm still not going to apologize for things I've said about Indiana, but I will apologize for things I said about Curt Cignetti.
Fair.
But moving on to some other potential coaching changes, Virginia Tech, as we've discussed on the show at length, has mentioned, or Shane Beamer has been asked if he wants to go to Virginia Tech. That's where his dad coached. And he said, nope, I'm happy here, or I'm not happy with how we've been doing, but I'm good here. I have no idea where that story came from. I have conveyed publicly many times how much I want to be here, and I respect the question. I understand you asking it, and I'm not mad. I've conveyed many times how much I want to be here. This is my dream job. I said that when I came here. Nothing has changed. I am pissed off at the way we are performing right now, and it's not acceptable. I came here to win a championship. I believe him. There was a lot more to that quote. I just read kind of like the beginning. I believe him.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, because normally when a coach says something like that, it's like, okay, we can clearly see the writing on the wall. You're going to dip. But for some reason, that sounded more genuine. I don't know why.
I think it's the length, and I think it's because he addressed, like, I know you have to ask this. I'm not mad that you're asking
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's dumb though. I'm not leaving. Other coaches, they get asked that, they go, no, or that's ridiculous. Why are you asking me that? I'm focused on that. It's way too.
Yeah.
They're protesting too much,
Right.
and Bieber's just kind of like, no, I understand the question, but no, I'm good here.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
actually
happy about how they are, but
right, and that actually brings up an interesting point, because Matt Rule actually did the other thing. He's like, no, I'm good where I am right now, and I'm like, are you though? Like, because that sounds like a very cop out answer, you know. So while Shane Beamer might not go to Virginia Tech, Matt Rule probably will go to Penn State. So that'll be interesting to see. It's funny that you can, like, just with a few different words, you can absolutely tell if somebody's staying or leaving.
I'd be very curious. The number of words said in their denial is
Yes.
like about how many more games they're going to be coaching there.
Yeah.
And Shane Bieber basically recited War and Peace to that reporter.
He had a
So
full
he's
thesis.
a lifer. He's a cock for life. And speaking of what feels like it's going to be a lifer, Pat Narduzzi, who's been at Pitt for a while, says that he's been saying for years the ACC is top to bottom the best conference in the country. You could have said that last year. They were a very deep conference last year, not quite so much this year. And then going back further than that, what crack was Pat Narduzzi smoking from 2023 backwards? Because my brother in Christ, how could you look at that conference and go, yeah, we're the best? That It's like me going to a Celtics game and going, I'm probably the best basketball player here. But clearly I'm not. I'm 5'7" and out of shape.
Yeah.
Just like the ACC.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know what I genuinely don't know what he's talking about. When you have teams like I don't know, Boston College in your group, and actually you can just use them as the whole example. They bring the average pretty far down. But even still, like, he went 7-6 last year, 3-9 the year before, 9-4, fair enough, respectable, 11-3 in 2021, and then back to 6-5, 8-5, 7-7. So, like, you are the middle of the pack of a conference that is quote unquote the top to bottom best conference. If Boston College was to go against the Vanderbilt from 4 years ago, they would still lose by 40. Like, you're not the top to bottom best conference, not by a long shot.
Yeah, and the big thing about the ACC, it's been top heavy.
Yeah, extremely.
And other conferences are the same way, but it's just bad. Like Clemson just basically dominated everyone for the better part of 7 years in that conference. And if you want to
before
say the
them,
ACC Atlantic was a really good division, I'd give you that. I mean, you had Clemson at 11-3, Florida State, this is 2022.
Yep.
Florida State at 10-3, Syracuse 7-6, Louisville 8-5, NC State 8-5, Wake Forest 8-5, and then Boston College 3-9, bringing it down. And oh my God, how long has Cade Klubnik been in college?
Is he
That
another
was only 3 years ago.
All right.
That maybe he's only 22. It's 2022 just sounds so far ago. But yeah, so Pat Narduzzi is there's something wrong with his brain.
Yeah. I don't know, like, what's he trying to do? Like, what's he trying to prove? Like, it objectively isn't, and you're just going to state stuff? Okay, sure. I'm a giant purple elephant. That has the same weight as Pat Narduzzi saying the ACC is the best conference, top to bottom.
Yeah, no, it's insane. But also, how long has he been there? Because I feel like
He's
Pat Narduzzi's also
been there
just
since
reached the
2015, so 10 years.
yeah. I feel like he's reached a point where he can just say whatever he wants.
Yeah. Okay.
Pitt's not
All
going to
right. Fair
fire
enough.
him.
Yeah. No. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
But moving on to another school that recently fired their coach. We've talked about before. Petrino is back at Arkansas, and Texas A&M had the most wild graphic I've ever seen after beating a team. They went hog wild and showed a picture of a player riding a motorcycle. For those who did not listen to us breaking down the Bobby Petrino scandal a couple weeks ago, he got in trouble for crashing a motorcycle with a former volleyball coach or player who he was cheating on his wife with. Wild, insane. A+ work from the Aggie social media team.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not checked before it was sent out. I guarantee you some intern made that and was like, wouldn't this be funny? And accidentally hit send.
The thing is, though, Kieran, this is not a screenshot of a post. This is still up.
Oh, that's even better.
It's very much a live post.
That's fantastic.
It's just great. I love it, and I wanted your reaction to it.
It's
also, I sent myself this stuff. This is kind of weird in hindsight, right?
Yeah, that's
it's
not great.
He posted it before the game. Thanks, guys, for an amazing workout this morning. Knowing Lane's history, not a great look, but also then to go out and lose the game, also not a great look.
Yes. Yeah, I don't actually have any words for that. I'm just gonna let that one play out, and we'll see where he is at the end of the season. Like, technically, he's done nothing bad, illegal, but, like, you know, everything he posts is just one questionable tweet after another. Like, there's actually nothing wrong. Like, nobody's hurt or harmed as far as we know, but it's just getting weirder. Well, okay, yeah, but
the broken hearts all over the country, Ciarnan.
Yes, I guess you could argue that. They should sue for damages and emotional distress.
Exactly. But yeah, so shout out Lane, I guess. We were going to talk about Mike Lombardi going to Saudi Arabia for a recruit or a fundraising visit, Ciarnan. Do you have thoughts on that at all, or is that just a dumb thing that's also going on with UNC football?
It's just a dumb thing. Please don't. Just in general, people, everyone, stop taking money from the Saudis. I'm sorry. Just.
I think it asked me to stop. So you can ask me to stop talking about UNC.
No, we can keep bashing them as much as you want.
All right, cool. That's like half our show at this point.
It is. It really is.
But yeah, no, stop taking money from people with terrible human rights issues. I'm looking at you, comedians, and the WWE, and golfers, and Hollywood, and pretty much everyone else. Just stop. Ciarnan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to ask that. We're going to move on to the AP poll. I don't want to know the answer. I don't want to know what my answer would be. But others receiving votes. Southern Cal with I don't like how they say Southern Cal because I just read and turn my brain off. It's USC, but I feel weird saying Southern Cal. USC at 97, Utah at 40, Tulane at 37, Houston with 34, Navy with 28, San Diego State with 7, James Madison with 6, Boise State with 4, TCU with 2, and Minnesota with 1. Any thoughts, Ciarnan?
No, seems appropriate.
All right, going to the top 25. There's still so much movement, and we're just going to go through the whole thing.
It's chaos.
Michigan at 25, Arizona State at 24, Illinois at 23, Texas at 22, Cincinnati at 21, and LSU at 20. Ciarnan, thoughts?
No real thoughts. I mean, again, a lot of upsets happened this weekend, so we're just going to see a lot of movement, especially at LSU. So it's one of those things. It's like we really need to wait for the CFP rankings to come out, and then we can make an actual decision on if this even makes sense.
That's true. Also, I just want to reiterate that I said I never saw it with Garrett Nussmeier. I did not expect him to be this great quarterback this year, and he hasn't been. So, once again, I was right. He played well. Don't get me wrong, 19 for 28, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. But that's not great quarterback play. That's just a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
Next up, Louisville up to 19 after their upset of Miami. South Florida up to 18. Tennessee at 17, dropping 6. Virginia, geez, I keep doing that. Virginia up 2 to 16, and Missouri up 1 to 15. Ciarnan, any thoughts?
South Florida, still surprising. Just keep climbing the rankings. It's good to see them back.
The fact they ever dropped out of the rankings is insane.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. Texas Tech and their banned tortillas dropping 7 spots to 14. Oklahoma up 1 to 13. Notre Dame up 1 to 12. Number 11, BYU up 4 spots. Notre Dame is not the 12th best team in the country.
No. Not by a long shot.
I would argue Tennessee's better than them.
I'd argue Missouri's better than them.
Oh, yeah, I was going with 2 losses. I think LSU's probably better than them.
Fair enough.
They're 2 losses at 20. Texas, probably not. Illinois, Arizona State, Michigan, probably not. But everyone else behind them is a given. Oklahoma's better than them. Texas Tech's better than them. Missouri's better than them. Virginia's better than them. South Florida, it depends on the day. Louisville probably could beat them as well. Cincinnati probably also would beat them. So, yeah, Notre Dame is a mid-program with good marketing, and that's why they are ranked still number 12. If you wanted to put them down in the 20s, I would not have as big an issue with it.
How funny would it be if they lost to Boston College this weekend? Oh, excuse me, not this weekend. Next weekend, they have a bye.
I would love life. That'd be awesome. I don't like Bill O'Brien, but I hate Notre Dame more. So
yeah, exactly. It's
Bill, if you beat Notre Dame this weekend, I will never say another bad word about you in my life.
There you go,
I will
Bill.
talk about you in the same breath as Urban Meyer, Joe Paterno, Bill Belichick, probably not Nick Saban because I love Nick Saban, but like those guys. I'll talk to you in the same breath as them, and please just put us out of our misery in Old Yeller Notre Dame immediately.
Oh, be wonderful.
Next up, Vandy moving up 7 spots to number 10. Miami dropping 7 spots to number 9. Ole Miss dropping 3 spots to number 8. Georgia Tech moving up 5 spots to 7. Oregon up 2 to 6. Georgia up 4 to 5. Alabama up 2 to 4, where they rightfully belong. Texas A&M up 1 to number 3. Indiana is your number 2 team in the country and getting 6 first-place votes in the AP poll. Shout out Kurt Cignetti on that massive contract. You earned it, bud. I still hate you. And Ohio State at 1 still. Penn State, please just save your season. And I hope Penn State beats.
Please, we play 1 and 2 as of this week. We play 1 and 2. If we even beat one of them, that would be the funniest thing to have happened.
I think it would be the funniest thing if y'all fire James Franklin and then beat Ohio State.
Oh, that would be. Oh, so that's actually a really funny point. So the joke always was Franklin can never beat Ohio State. Doesn't matter where. A kid whom I just recently met, we were arguing because it was the beginning of the season and Ohio State had just knocked off Texas. I think it was like week 2. And so I was getting to know this guy. He found out he was from Ohio State. And he's like, oh, Penn State can never win. And I was talking a ton of smack because obviously I was riding high on the rankings and everything. And we got to the point where Franklin was fired. And then he goes, oh, what happened? And then he goes, actually, no, hang on a second. I'm really scared because now if there's no Franklin, they might actually win. And I'm like,
God
oh,
forbid.
Yeah. It's so great. I was like, just be ready. Just be ready.
Yeah. So, but I also shout out Georgia Tech. Love that for them.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about Miami still being top 10. I'm not saying drop them super far, but when you have BYU sitting there at 7-0,
it's a bad
maybe
look. Yeah.
Slide everyone up 1, move Miami down to 11. Oh, also Kieran and Jared from the corner booth, and I decided you owe Jared an apology. Or Miami. We said you owe Miami an apology.
Okay. Jared, I'm sorry.
And
what?
Miami.
And Miami.
There we go. All right. There's your AP poll. Now we're going to get into our bets for the past 2 weeks. So I think I got it all squared away, Kieran, but there's a chance that I just didn't and I missed something, but it's fine. Going to our week 7 picks, Kieran picked Maryland and believe they lost to Nebraska. They did. I picked Oregon. They lost to Indiana. Kieran and I both picked the Kev Bowl. I had Kent -2.5. Kieran had UMass +2.5. Kent State won 36 by 36, 42-6. So Kieran's 0-2. I am 1, or Kieran's 0-for-2. I am 1-for-2. And then our miscellaneous Taron Dickens for Western Carolina, 2+ touchdowns. He did not have any. And I had Jam Miller anytime touchdown, and he left the game with a concussion or an injury. I don't know if they ever officially said concussion. So, not great. But moving on to week 8, Kieran, thank you for getting me those picks, even though we did not do a show. Kieran had Miami, -535 against Louisville. And that's why he owed Jared and Miami an apology. They lost. I had Maryland +136. They also lost to UCLA. Kieran had Georgia Tech +1.5. They did beat Duke. I'm trying to find the tab. I forget the score, but there it is. They beat Duke 27-18, so Kieran got that right. I had Mississippi State +9.5. They only lost by 2, so I got that right. Kieran had a punt return touchdown in Texas Tech versus Arizona State, which did not happen. And I had the under of 40.5 for Iowa Penn State, which also did not happen. So not a great look for us, Kieran.
No. It's weird that Penn State has lost by 1 in the last 2 matches. Or rather, not by a lot, is my point.
Yeah, that's true. Before we get into our bets for week 9, I forgot what week it was. Kieran, how's the weather looking?
Well, the weather is looking the worst over the plains. So Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma, Tulsa, anywhere around there. There is a massive storm front going through there. So you will be affected come game time. It's going to be, according to the report as of right now, it's going to be very, very slippery. So expect higher runs and possibly more fumbles, as well as anywhere in the the Washington and Oregon areas. They typically have pretty bad showers or storms, I should say, this time of year anyway, and it's just going to be pissing rain up there. So expect Oregon and Wisconsin to have a lot of fun up there. Expect, I think, Oregon and Washington, who are also playing Illinois. So expect them to be kind of run-heavy games with possibly more turnovers than you'd expect. So there you go. If you're betting on turnovers, which I will be doing.
Perfect. All right. Now into our bets. Kieran, who's your money line this week?
My money line is I can't believe I'm saying this. It's Indiana versus UCLA. I know. Shocker pick. Minus 3,200.
Bold.
Bold prediction. I need a win. And I swear to God, sorry, I almost used it. If UCLA beats Indiana, I'm going to explode.
That's fair. I also did something similar to you, though. I have Virginia minus 395 versus UNC.
Okay.
So, spread, I have Vandy minus 2.5 versus Mizzou.
All right.
I feel like a spread like that is basically a free money line pick or another money line pick. So, who's your spread, Ciarnan?
My spread is a little bit more fun, a little zesty. It's Old Miss plus 5.5 at minus 112. And if I'm not mistaken,
Who are they?
Oklahoma, I believe. Unless I've.
They are. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they are.
Yeah.
I saw it. And your miscellaneous.
My miscellaneous, because of the weather, especially up in Washington, my miscellaneous is first Toledo drive, a turnover on downs, or a safety at plus 114.
That's what I did for Kent State a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. Plus, you don't sweat that one out.
Yeah. It's just like
out immediately. It's great.
Yeah. That's why I picked it. I'm like, it's either going to happen or it's not, and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the game.
Yeah, you can just enjoy Toledo playing. I don't even know if they're playing
Washington State.
Right. Duh. All right, my miscellaneous. I have Haynes King first touchdown score versus Syracuse at plus 320.
All right.
Bold, but I think his legs can get it done. All right, Ciarnan. We're on to our mid teams.
Yes.
Do we want to do the last 2 weeks or just this past week?
We can do the last 2 weeks. I feel like we need to get both of them.
Okay. All right. I'll go first. I feel like I make you go first all the time. The Kev Bowl, Kent State versus UMass, was a bloodbath. 42-6. I'm bad luck for teams. 11.4 QBR for AJ Hairston. 26 for 48, 227 yards, and no touchdowns and a pick. Not a great look. Running backs averaged the ground game 1.3 yards per carry, long of 12. Receivers did okay. Jake McConaughey, 7 receptions, 67 yards. Donnie Gray, 6 for 60. Not too shabby. AJ Harrison also fumbled it. No turnovers caused on defense. Just not a great time. And
yeah.
I was going to move on to Buffalo.
Okay, go.
Okay, I didn't know if you had thoughts. A bounce back game for the Minutemen, though. They only lost by 7 this week. And Buffalo needed a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to win it in the fourth quarter. Quarterbacks did okay. AJ Hairston, 6 for 14, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brandon Hood, 179 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Max Dowling, only 1 catch, but he got one of the touchdowns, 77 yards, huge catch. And I think they forced some turnovers. They did. Taquan Roberson threw a pick to the Minutemen. They forced a fumble, maybe? They did not force a fumble. The kicker did well. No, he didn't. 0 for 1, 3 for 3 on extra points, though. And, yeah, so shout out to the Minutemen. It's getting better. The only place you can go from losing to Kent State is up, and they're going up, buddy.
Well, on the flip side, it's gone from bad to worse. Much like Penn State's season, the West Virginia Mountaineers are doing no better. They lost 38-24 to 23rd at the time, BYU, and then they promptly followed up that beat down by losing to UCF 45-13. And I have yet to see a box score or a stat line where a quarterback for West Virginia has gotten over 100 yards. Now, just in comparison for the UCF game, we'll compare Scott Frost, who took the most amount of attempts, and we'll take Tavion Jackson for UCF, who had the most attempts. Now, there were two other quarterbacks for both teams, but they were switching them up on offense, so we're not going to count those. Scotty Fox, 6 completions for 17 attempts, 47 yards. Alternatively, we had Tavion Jackson, 23 catches for 34 attempts, already much better, for 277 yards. The disparity between offensive production out of West Virginia versus literally apparently any other team is so drastic that it looks embarrassing for West Virginia. I mean, there is nothing that they can do, it seems, at least on offense, to do anything to produce points. And frankly, the defense looks horrible as well. Giving up 45 to the Knights, giving up 38 to BYU, giving up 48 the week prior, giving up 41 the week prior, giving up 24 the week prior against Pitt, who Pat Narduzzi said they're top to bottom best conference, so haha. 17 against Iowa, and in fairness, they beat Robert Morris 45-3, which should have been the trend this year, but it has gone very much downhill.
That's fair. And there was your mid-team report. Ciarnan and I are both in hell.
Yeah. Me more so, because my team just fired the coach, but anyway.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Last bit on the topics. Luke Fickle's shopping list. Wisconsin played Ohio State last weekend. They're playing Oregon this upcoming weekend, but I had to put one in for Ohio State. Luke Fickell could buy 42,857,167 Buckeyes, little candies from Marsh's Buckeyes in Perrysburg, Ohio. They have a bucket, 60 Buckeyes for $35. He could make one and about a third Goonies movies. The Goonies take place in Oregon, and they had a budget of about, I think, $18 million when it came out. He could buy 217,391 pairs of Air Force Ones, Nike, of course, being in Oregon, for $115 a pop. He could buy 3,333 pack llamas at about $5,000 to $10,000 per llama. And if you're asking, Kevin, why the hell are you talking about llamas? Oregon has one of the highest populations of llamas in the United States, with 25% of all United States llamas being found in Oregon. He could fund 23 Lewis and Clark expeditions. This I did adjust for inflation because that made it a little funnier. It's estimated in 1804, $38,722.25 was spent on the expedition, which is $1,063,142 adjusted for inflation. So 23. Or in 1876, which is when the University of Oregon, was founded, he could send 1,101 families on the Oregon Trail, $500 to $1,000 per family, $750 middle part, adjusted for inflation, $22,706. And finally, this one I did not adjust for inflation because it's funnier. At release, he could buy 1,389,660 copies of the DOS version of the Oregon Trail game. So, yeah, that sounds like a fun weekend. Just eat a shit ton of Buckeyes, watch some Goonies, put on your Air Force Ones, curl up with your llama blanket, and play some Oregon Trail. Also, Lewis and Clark and some families on the Oregon Trail. That sounds less fun than the rest of it, but it's there.
All right. Good to know. Just one quick note before we head off, and Kevin and I say this all the time off air. We always miss something when we record this podcast because we're not obviously looking at our phones, but something did just cross my phone, which is the SEC has reportedly permanently suspended veteran SEC official Ken Williamson from officiating conference games. This comes in the wake of a controversial call or Auburn and Georgia on October 11th. It was revealed that of the 11 formal complaints that were submitted against Williamson's crew, 9 of them were validated by conference officials. So there you go. Something
I want to see more conferences do this. Publicly shame your officials and ban them for life. I think the Big 12 publicly admonished officials and moved their games a couple weeks ago. More of that. More of this. More of saying, hey, you suck at your job. You're not allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah. Being held
awesome.
accountable. It's nice.
But also, Auburn, stop complaining. Bad refs are part of the game. At least that's what you say every time you win a game.
There's a problem.
It didn't impact it. Pick a lane.
Yeah.
Also, did you see Hugh Freeze publicly begging the AD for a vote of confidence?
Yes, I did see that, yeah.
If you have to ask for a vote of confidence, you probably don't deserve.
Yeah, seriously. You have to be best friends with that AD in order to get that.
Or just be decent at your job. I did see some other reports, I don't know how true it is, that they don't blame Hugh Freeze for the 3-3 start. They think Auburn should be 5-1, but bad refs is the reason they're not, which is hilarious.
Good on Hugh Freeze for convincing them of that. He's a convincing man, Kevin. He's a convincing man.
In a lot of ways. So shout out Auburn. You're never beating the little brother allegations, and I love it. I'm here for it. But everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. Make lots of good choices, and if you don't, make sure you don't drive after. Bye.
Amen.
They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God. That's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.